2025 was marked by heartbreak and disbelief, as several beloved stars lost their lives in devastating car crashes. These were more than mere accidents. They were moments that changed music, film, and hearts forever. Here are 5 of the year's most haunting celebrity tragedies. In one of the most tragic events to strike the football world in 2025, the life of Liverpool forward Diogo Jota came to a devastating end. The 28-year-old athlete, celebrated for his relentless energy and precision on the field, had just lived what many would call a perfect summer. He was fresh from winning the Premier League with Liverpool, the Nations League with Portugal, and had married his longtime partner, Rude Cardoso, only 11 days earlier. But in the early hours of July 3, 2025, a late-night drive across northern Spain ended in disaster, shocking fans and fellow players across the globe. Diogo José Teixeira da Silva, known to millions as Diogo Jota, was traveling with his younger brother André Silva from Portugal to the port city of Santander. Following minor lung surgery, doctors had advised him not to fly, so he chose to make the journey by car to catch a ferry to the UK ahead of Liverpool's pre-season training. The brothers set out in Jota's Lamborghini Huracan, one of the most admired models in the world of luxury sports cars. At approximately 12:35 a.m., while overtaking another vehicle on the A52 motorway near Cernadilla in Spain's Zamora province, the car's tire suddenly blew out. Traveling at high speed, the vehicle veered violently off the road, struck the crash barriers, rolled several times, and burst into flames. Emergency responders arrived minutes later to find the supercar engulfed in fire, with flames spreading to the surrounding vegetation. Despite their efforts, both Jota and his 26-year-old brother were pronounced dead at the scene. Spanish Civil Guard reports confirmed that all evidence pointed to excessive speed and a catastrophic tire failure as the main causes of the crash. Authorities are still finalizing their investigation, and the full report is expected to be submitted to a local court in Puebla de Sanabria. The charred wreckage of the Lamborghini remained at the roadside for several hours after dawn, a haunting image that quickly spread across news outlets. Born in Porto in 1996, Jota's rise to fame was marked by perseverance and determination. From his early years at Paços de Ferreira to his time at Atletico Madrid, Porto, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and finally Liverpool, he built a reputation as one of Europe's most complete forwards, admired for his finishing, pace, and tireless work ethic. He earned 49 international caps for Portugal, contributing to their UEFA Nations League victories in both 2019 and 2025. André, also a professional footballer, played for Penafiel in Portugal's second division and was following his brother's path with equal dedication. The following day, the brothers' bodies were returned to their hometown of Gondomar, Portugal. A wake was held on July 4th, attended by hundreds of mourners, including Prime Minister Luis Montenegro, President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, and numerous public figures. The funeral took place the next morning at the Igreja Paroquial de Gondomar, where Bishop Manuel Linda presided over the Mass. Among the pallbearers were Liverpool's Ruben Neves and Jota's club teammates Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson, who carried floral tributes to honor both brothers. They were buried side by side in the cemetery adjoining the church. Tributes poured in from around the world. Liverpool described themselves as devastated, calling the loss a tragedy that transcends football. The club retired Jota's number 20 shirt across all levels, a rare gesture reserved for its most cherished players. Former manager Jurgen Klopp called him not only a remarkable player, but a great friend, a loving husband and father. Cristiano Ronaldo, his Portugal teammate, wrote that the tragedy doesn't make sense, expressing his sorrow for the young family left behind, his wife and their 3 children. The deaths of Diogo Jota and André Silva stand among the most heartbreaking celebrity car crashes of 2025. A sudden, senseless loss that left both Portuguese and international football mourning 2 brothers whose futures were filled with promise, taken far too soon. Sophia Hutchins was widely known not only for her business ventures and philanthropy, but also for her close professional and personal connection to Caitlyn Jenner. At just 29 years old, she had already become a recognized figure in the entertainment and business worlds, leading the Caitlyn Jenner Foundation and launching her own skincare brand. Her path from a driven student at Pepperdine University to a well-known entrepreneur was marked by determination and ambition. Yet on a clear July morning in 2025, That promising life came to a sudden and devastating end on a winding canyon road near Malibu, California, an accident that would become one of the most shocking celebrity deaths of the year. Born in Bellevue, Washington on April 1, 1996, Sophia grew up in a Roman Catholic household and later attended Pepperdine University on an academic scholarship, where she earned a degree in economics and finance. She made history there as the first openly transgender person to serve in student government and to graduate from the university. Her early experiences shaped her worldviews, and through the Caitlyn Jenner Foundation, she helped fund organizations supporting transgender rights and education. Beyond her work with Jenner, Sophia built a reputation as an entrepreneur and influencer. In 2020, she launched Lumisol, a sunscreen brand inspired by Jenner's battle with skin cancer. She later appeared in Kim Kardashian's Skims campaign and became a recognizable media figure in her own right. On July 2, 2025, Sophia was riding a blue 2013 Polaris ATV along Decker Canyon Road, a steep and curving route not far from Jenner's Malibu home. At around mid-morning, her vehicle struck the rear bumper of a gray 2016 Mazda 6 carrying 2 passengers. The impact caused her ATV to swerve violently off the narrow road and plunge approximately 350 feet down into a ravine. Emergency responders were dispatched immediately, but Sophia was pronounced dead at the scene. The passengers in the Mazda were uninjured. Investigators from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department later determined that Sophia had likely been traveling at high speed before the collision. Sergeant Eduardo Saucedo explained that she appeared to have clipped the rear end of the car while attempting to maneuver around it, sending her vehicle over the edge of the canyon. Authorities confirmed that Sophia was not under the influence of alcohol or illegal substances at the time of the crash, and the case was ruled an accident. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner reported that she died from multiple blunt force injuries sustained during the fall. Because of the depth of the ravine, the ATV could not be immediately recovered. The towing company on site reportedly lacked equipment long enough to pull it back up the cliff. Caitlyn Jenner, who arrived at the scene shortly after the crash, was said to be in visible shock. She later described the loss as one of the most difficult experiences of her life. Sophia's death struck a deep chord across both the entertainment and business communities. She had been part of Caitlyn Jenner's inner circle since 2015, first appearing alongside her in the docuseries I Am Kate. Over the years, she transitioned from Jenner's manager to her closest confidant, living in Jenner's Malibu home and helping run her philanthropic foundation. Their relationship, often misunderstood by the public, was one of mutual respect and loyalty. Sophia frequently described Jenner as a parental figure, while Jenner referred to her as family. Sophia was laid to rest at Holy Cross Catholic Cemetery in Los Angeles on July 24, 2025. Her funeral was attended by family, friends, and members of Jenner's extended circle, including several from the Kardashian family. In the weeks following her death, Jenner spoke publicly about her grief, calling Sophia's passing a heartbreaking loss that left a void impossible to fill. The suddenness of the tragedy, coupled with the steep terrain and violent nature of the crash, made Sophia Hutchins' death one of the most disturbing celebrity car crash fatalities of 2025. Her legacy, however, remains defined not by the circumstances of her passing, but by the impact she left through her work and her unwavering drive to build a meaningful life in the public eye. Sam Gardner was known to millions as one of the most spirited contestants to ever appear on Race Across the World. Adventurous, warm, and unafraid of challenges, he brought charm and authenticity to the BBC series when he competed alongside his mother, Jo, in 2020. Off-screen, Sam led a simple and fulfilling life as a landscape gardener in Scotland, a job that suited his love of the outdoors. But in late May 2025, his story took an unforeseen and devastating end. On May 26, 2025, Sam was driving home to Stockport, Greater Manchester, after returning from Scotland to celebrate a family birthday. He was behind the wheel of his high-performance VW Golf R4 Motion Estate, a modified 300 brake horsepower vehicle known for its speed and power. It was a wet and treacherous evening, with heavy rain drenching the A34 dual carriageway near Gatley. According to witnesses, visibility was poor, standing water covered the road, and many drivers had slowed down to adjust to the conditions. But Sam's car was seen weaving between lanes, overtaking and undertaking other vehicles at what investigators later described as a significant estimated speed. At around 10 p.m., tragedy struck. Sam's car hit the central reservation, spun out of control, and rolled before coming to rest on its side. The impact caused catastrophic damage. He suffered a devastating brain injury and was found unconscious at the scene. Emergency services rushed him to Salford Royal Hospital, where he was placed in an induced coma. Despite the efforts of doctors, they concluded that there was no realistic chance of recovery. 3 days later, on May 29th, Sam passed away, surrounded by his family. The inquest into his death revealed that several factors had contributed to the fatal crash. Forensic investigators from Greater Manchester Police determined that the tires on his car were below the legal tread limit, significantly reducing grip on the rain-soaked road. The blocked roadside drains had worsened the standing water hazard, and combined with high speed, made the vehicle impossible to control once it lost traction. Coroner Christopher Morris described the weather that night as appalling, and concluded that Sam had died in a road traffic collision caused by excessive speed for the conditions. Sam's family listened to the findings with visible grief. Jo told the inquest that her adopted son had always been full of energy, generous, and caring, but that he also loved cars and speed. She confirmed that he had modified his vehicle's exhaust system, removing the silencer to make it louder. Yet behind his love of excitement was a young man who had faced significant challenges. Sam had been diagnosed with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD, a lifelong condition that affected his early development. His parents said that raising awareness of FASD had become deeply important to their family. In the weeks after his death, tributes poured in from fans, fellow contestants, and the BBC production team. The Race Across the World family remembered him as an adventurer who lived life with love and energy, recalling his close bond with his mother and their determination during the show's 7-week journey across South America. His family described him as loyal, funny, and fiercely protective, saying that he brought warmth, laughter, and a smattering of chaos wherever he went. To honor his memory, Sam's parents, Jo and Andrew, launched a Just Giving fundraiser for the National FASD charity, a cause that had helped them through their journey with Sam's diagnosis. Initially set with a modest £500 goal, the campaign quickly surpassed expectations, raising over £28,000 as tributes flooded in from across the UK and beyond. Jo said she was deeply moved by the messages from people who shared how Sam had inspired them, particularly those affected by FASD. The BBC later aired a touching tribute to Sam at the end of Race Across the World's latest season, showing a photograph of him smiling beside the words, "In loving memory of Sam Gardner, 2000-2025. His death stands as a reminder of how quickly a moment on the road can end a life that seemed destined for adventure. Brad Everett Young was the kind of creative force who seemed tireless, an actor, photographer, and passionate advocate for the arts whose energy lit up every room he entered. At 46, he had built a remarkable career that spanned film, television, and photography, capturing both the glamour and the humanity of Hollywood through his lens. Known for his generosity and relentless optimism, Brad dedicated his life to promoting creativity, mentoring artists, and reminding people that art could change lives. But on a late September night in 2025, that light was suddenly extinguished in one of the most tragic celebrity car crash deaths of the year. Born on July 24, 1979 in Danville, Virginia, Brad grew up as the middle child in a close-knit family of 3 siblings. From an early age, he showed a deep love for the arts, writing, photography, and performance, and became editor-in-chief of both his high school newspaper and his college magazine. After graduating from Everett University, he initially planned to pursue a career in medicine. But after moving to Los Angeles, he auditioned for a television series, booked the role, and joined the Screen Actors Guild. That experience changed the direction of his life. He would later say that he fell in love with everything in this business and the journey and strength it takes to accomplish what you want in it. Brad went on to appear in a wide range of television shows and films from the late 1990s through the 2010s. His credits included Boy Meets World, Charmed, Grey's Anatomy, Felicity, Beverly Hills, 90210, Love and Basketball, Charlie's Angels, Jurassic Park 3, I Love You, Man, The Artist, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Although his acting career was steady, it was his work behind the camera that brought him widespread recognition. As a celebrity photographer, he became a fixture on Hollywood red carpets and at industry events, capturing portraits that blended style with sincerity. His photographs were published in major outlets such as Vanity Fair, People, Variety, and The Hollywood Reporter, featuring stars including Sarah Michelle Gellar, David Harbour, Seth Green, and Emma Caulfield Ford. Beyond his professional success, Brad was deeply committed to arts education. In 2014, he founded Dream Loud Official, a nonprofit organization aimed at restoring music and art programs in schools across the United States. The project reflected his own belief that creative education was not a privilege but a necessity. His publicist, Paul Christensen, described him as a man whose passion for both the arts and the people behind them was unmatched. On September 15, 2025, Brad was driving alone on California's 134 freeway after attending a movie. It was late and traffic was light. Without warning, a vehicle traveling the wrong way on the freeway struck his car head-on, resulting in a violent collision that left Brad with fatal injuries. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but the impact had been catastrophic. Brad was pronounced dead at the scene. The other driver, whose name was not released, survived and was hospitalized. Authorities later confirmed that Brad had been driving within the speed limit and that the collision was entirely the result of the wrong-way driver's sudden and unpredictable intrusion. Following his death, tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry. Actor Chris McKenna of General Hospital called Brad a talented, funny, warm, caring guy whose generosity touched countless lives. Others described him as relentlessly positive, always offering his time and skill without expectation of payment, simply to help others succeed. His friends and colleagues spoke of his infectious enthusiasm, his humor, and his deep love for his family, especially his brother Chris. Brad Everett Young's sudden passing left a void in both the creative community and among those who knew him personally. Angie Stone was more than an R&B legend. She was a voice that carried soul, strength, and history. For over 4 decades, her music told stories of love, struggle, and resilience, shaping the sound of modern soul while honoring the roots of gospel and funk. In March 2025, she was still performing, still creating, and still planning her next project, unaware that an ordinary trip home from a show would soon become one of the year's most heartbreaking losses in the entertainment world. Born Angela Laverne Brown in Columbia, South Carolina on December 18, 1961, she was raised in a musically gifted family and began singing in her church choir. In her teens, she joined the trailblazing hip-hop trio The Sequence, one of the first all-female rap acts in history. Their 1979 hit Funk You Up opened doors for women in hip-hop and laid the foundation for Stone's enduring influence. By the 1990s, she had transitioned into R&B and neo-soul, forming the group Vertical Hold before launching a successful solo career. Her 1999 album Black Diamond and the 2001 follow-up Mahogany Soul earned gold certifications and critical acclaim. Songs such as No More Rain in This Cloud and Wish I Didn't Miss You became timeless classics, cementing her reputation as one of the genre's most emotive voices. Angie's career extended beyond music. She acted in films and television, appeared on Broadway, and became a respected advocate for diabetes awareness after her 1999 diagnosis. Through her foundation, Angel Stripes, she championed arts education and senior voting rights, embodying her belief that music and community could bring people together. By 2024, she had been inducted into the Women Songwriters Hall of Fame and was preparing for new creative projects while celebrating 50 years in entertainment. In the early hours of March 1st, tragedy struck. After completing a Mardi Gras performance in Mobile, Angie and 9 others, her bandmates and backup singers, departed for Atlanta in a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. At approximately 4:25 a.m. on a stretch of Interstate 65, the van lost control and overturned near Montgomery. As passengers tried to exit, the overturned vehicle was struck by a Freightliner Cascadia truck, driven by a 33-year-old man from Texas. Despite the rapid response of emergency crews, Angie was pronounced dead at the scene. The others were taken to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities described the wreck as violent and catastrophic, with the Sprinter almost completely destroyed. The suddenness of her death sent shockwaves through the music industry. Tributes poured in from fellow artists and cultural icons who praised her as both a pioneer and a mentor. Former collaborators, including D'Angelo, with whom she shared a son, were said to be deeply shaken. He reportedly could not bring himself to attend her funeral, overwhelmed by the loss of a woman who had been both his creative partner and lifelong friend. A televised funeral service was held on March 14, 2025, at the Word of Faith Cathedral in Austell, Georgia, drawing hundreds of mourners. Performances by Kirk Franklin, Tamala Mann, and Anthony Hamilton filled the service with music that reflected Angie's spirit. A second ceremony took place the following day in her hometown of Columbia, South Carolina, where locals gathered to celebrate her life. Later that year, the historic Columbia organization announced a special tribute to her during the Jubilee, Festival of Black History and Culture. Yet controversy arose when the BET Awards failed to include Angie in their In Memoriam segment. sparking criticism from fans and fellow musicians who felt her contributions were overlooked. In September 2025, her family filed a wrongful death lawsuit, alleging that Angie had survived the van's initial rollover and that the fatal blow came when the tractor-trailer struck the disabled vehicle. The lawsuit named multiple defendants, including both drivers, the vehicle owners, and Daimler Truck North America, citing mechanical failure and collision mitigation system issues. Angie Stone's passing marked not only the end of a storied career, but also the loss of a cultural trailblazer who helped shape the sound of modern R&B and hip-hop.